A B C D E F G A B C D E F G.
Oke, bagus.
Kita live guys. A B C D E F G. Kita live guys. A B C D E F G.
Dari setiap pesanan di Starbucks, Anda tidak hanya membeli secangkir kopi, Anda membantu mendukung para petani
History Hit Network. This channel is part of the History Hit Network.
The Americas before 1491 were home to thousands of societies, each with its own distinct social, cultural, and political structure. Throughout the two continents, indigenous people formed clans, confederacies, alliances, and even empires. Indigenous people interacted between these communities through a complex network of trade that connected every region of the Americas. The Haudenosaunee Confederacy was formed nearly 900 years ago, making it one of the oldest representative democracies in the world. Before the 5 founding Iroquois nations came together in peace, they were locked in an endless cycle of retribution and intertribal war.
You had 5 warring nations, and the descriptions in the oral histories is very, very explicit in talking about how there was fratricide, cannibalism. Basically, human relations had totally broken down in that part of the world amongst their own people. It has all to do with this cycle of revenge.
Every Iroquoian chief engaged in retaliation, but it was Tadadaho, the Serpent Chief, who was known throughout
Fratricide, cannibalism. Basically, human relations had totally broken down in that part of the world amongst their own people. It has all to do with this cycle of revenge. Every Iroquois chief, explicit, talking about how there was fratricide, cannibalism. Basically, human relations had totally broken down in that part of the world amongst their own people. It has all to do with this cycle of revenge. Every Iroquois chief engaged in retaliation, but it was Tadadaho. And the descriptions in the oral histories is
the territory for his ruthlessness.
This guy was terrifying. He put live snakes in his hair. Live and writhing snakes.
He's a very powerful spiritual person whose mind was twisted. So the imagery they have in the stories is his fingers are all twisted and his body's all gnarled and so forth. And he was able to control the wind and the waters, and he was causing a lot of harm.
As internal wars continued to tear the 5 nations apart, an outsider, known as the Peacemaker, arrived in a stone canoe and began to share his vision of a society based on harmony and peace. He traveled to every corner of Iroquoian territory, promoting the great law of peace.
And the founding of the Confederacy really is the story of the Peacemaker, a person from a related nation who came into our territory and connected with a leader in our nation, Hiawatha.
Once part of his nation's warrior society, Hiawatha had changed his way of thinking and started to promote his own vision of peace. Tadadaho saw this as a betrayal and had each of Hiawatha's daughters killed, one by one. The pain of his loss led Hiawatha to leave his community and isolate himself in the forest.
Hiawatha's story is not just Hiawatha, it's the story of him and his daughters, and how the loss of his daughters affected him. And what drove him to do what he did was the loss of his daughters.
Your daughters are your posterity, because lineage follows the female line.
After they met, the Peacemaker convinced Hiawatha that they should become allies in seeking peace among the nations. Even though he was overcome with grief, Hiawatha chose to work with the Peacemaker to promote his idea of an intertribal alliance between the 5 warring nations. Because of the revered role of women in Iroquoian nations, Hiawatha and the Peacemaker traveled to the fire of Jigansase to seek her advice on how to bring the great law of peace to the Iroquoian people.
In the Iroquois way of thinking, women were on par with men in terms of the authority they wield in the political realm.
History Hit is like Netflix, just for history fans. With exclusive history documentaries covering some of the most famous people and events in history just for you. With familiar faces such as Dan Jones and Dr. Eleanor Janega, we've got hundreds of documentaries covering the greatest figures and events of medieval history. We're committed to bringing history fans award-winning documentaries and podcasts that you cannot find anywhere else. Sign up now for a free trial, and Chronicle fans get 50% off their first 3 months. Just be sure to use the code CHRONICLE at checkout.
Sayada nene scanner unis. Sagot nigo ragwanyo. Iganyo gehaga. Nayo de aga. Kayokwa haga nak oni. Ne so dinunda wane aga. Skatne. Ahundora ne. Nekne onoda gehaga ya de hodigwenyo. Ne kanushunige.
Dogaske. Giate hodiat dara one onoda gehaga. Ne e giate hatundats ne tadadaho. Yase at dahoe ne lodia naso jinue itles ne tadadaho. Et chizwali wa negose ahajanutna.
Lungwe daxon eti tarodarho. Se wastawaks ne.
Gundahle ehnayawet ne nezahwajle. Gilona do hetsto. Nekchi dogat gaswan sawel yage. Yahnawanda et chitne gola gweni ne tadadahu.
Ne ona on skat ne njungwa we nuni hage. Ne jona tomizon yagodi yat dalago ne lorianeson. Danonize jigun saze. Gani stansera ne wisk ni hono hanjage on sadum.
Dagwa nuni.
The chiefs of the 4 Iroquois nations supported the peacemakers' vision of the great law of peace.
Tagagane unwe skana agahage.
It's important to consider the objective. The objective wasn't to enhance the power of these nations or to increase the territory or the wealth. It was to create peaceful, honest coexistence.
But Taradaho continued to resist joining the alliance.
Pwede kita akan ditulis.
Ya taundo on the Hadawia de.
Go yoganes sagane tarha se ne tado darho. Yakine tasagani garewa de.
Not know how is he going to agree to this peace because he'll lose all power.
Ya taundo skana de wana dunyo. Ne ganut sonige.